My biggest dream in moving to New York City was to be a Radio City Rockette. So many people tell me that I should be one, and I agree. But the fact of the matter is, I have been auditioning for the Radio City Rockettes since 2013. My dad actually flew up to New York City with me before I moved here, right when I turned 18, to go to my first audition. It has been a huge thing in my journey to make a point of it to attend this audition every year, and they usually have 2 auditions every year. So I've been auditioning twice a year for basically a decade. So to take you back a little bit, they used to have what was called RSI, or Rockette Summer Intensive, which was like a program that you paid for. It was very expensive to train with them for a week in like Rockette style. I did it for one summer, and then the next summer I actually got what was called the Invitational, which is like you audition and then a select group of dancers get selected for the Invitational, and then it's more of like intensive advanced training for dancers that, you know, I mean, to my assumption, obviously I don't know all of the details behind the scenes, but to my assumption, dancers that they would consider to be like on the track to be Rockettes, or some people, you know, from the Invitational week got selected to be Rockettes. So this was like a big deal. So I got the Invitational. It was a big deal to me. I paid my deposit. It was almost like $2,000 for this intensive, but I was like, hey, if this books me the job that I've always wanted, then it's going to repay itself over and over and over. Just so happens that this same year, I made the Brooklynettes dance team, and my rookie boot camp, which is like, you know, you made the team and now they have to like catch you up to speed on everything basically, was the same exact week as the Invitational. I ended up choosing the Brooklynettes, which I do think back to what could have been if I had chosen doing the Invitational over the Brooklynettes. But, you know, to me, I wasn't really working at the time, and the Brooklynettes was guaranteed money for me, and it was an exciting opportunity. And I had already been chosen, which, you know, is kind of a big deal because it's really hard to get chosen in this industry. So I tried to get my money back and couldn't. This is just like a silent sadness to my past self, because, you know, $2,000 is a lot of money, but especially to me at the time, it was like a big investment and like a hopeful for my career. And unfortunately, they did not give me back my money, even though I did not attend. It was non-refundable. Of course, the Brooklynettes changed my life. It changed my career, and it set me kind of on a path that I do really believe that God had chosen for me. So I don't have regrets, even though I do wonder what if. Something that experience taught me was that I was holding on to the Rockettes as like my number one thing that I wanted, and like nothing else would make me feel like I succeeded as a dancer in this industry. And making the Brooklynettes, and it made me have to like let go and loosen my palm on that a little bit. And I realized, wow, all of these opportunities I was closing myself off to because I just wanted this one thing that I thought that I was perfect for. And as soon as I kind of like let go, that's when cool things started to happen for me. But since then, I have gotten cut first round of Rockettes auditions every single time. I did get requested a couple of auditions in a row to tape for a special agency only invite, to which I did get selected for. You may have seen my tape. I didn't say what it was for because, you know, I try to keep things under wraps until they're like either booked or not booked. But I did post my audition tape for the Rockettes on here, and I'll put like a little clip of it here so you can see. But I did get selected to come into the invitation only. So I'm like, you know, there's something about me that's right for this, or that maybe they see is right for this, but it just never ends up working out in the end. I did go through a phase with the Rockettes where I was like, maybe I'm delusional. Like maybe I actually just suck, and I like have this vision in my head of like dancing and feeling like I'm really killing it, and I actually just look terrible. But then, you know, every once in a while I've seen clips of me doing it and I'm like, no, I look good. So I think it's just something that doesn't jive. Like I'm just not what they're looking for, which, you know, the more you have experience in this type of industry, the more you realize that like it's not even about you. Sometimes it's about the whole picture. I just don't fit the picture for some reason. But I will tell you a little story about when I got invited to the audition from my tape. Now they don't do Rockette Summer Intensive anymore. They do like training weeks that you don't have to pay for. They just bring you in to train you. It's a little bit more like under wraps, and they invite people from usually the spring audition to train during the summer, and then they have like their final audition in August. And I got invited to come to the final audition in August via my self-tape. And when I got there, people were practicing some choreography, and I was like, wait a second. And I went up to some of the girls and I said, hey, were we supposed to prepare something for this audition. And they were like, oh no, it's just the choreography that we did in our summer program and we're auditioning it today. So I was like, they're really about to throw me into this room to do choreography that most of the room already knows and then cut me. Yeah, I thought that wasn't great, but that's okay. All this to say, there is a certain piece that comes with being able to let go and say, maybe this thing that I thought was meant for me isn't meant for me. The first year that I decided not to show up to Rockette's auditions, which I think was like 2 years ago, I was like, whoa, am I giving up? Like, I'm not a quitter. And I was thinking to myself, it feels like I'm giving up. And then I realized, no, I'm just not bound to the idea of having to make this dream happen for myself. So yeah, 12 years later, and I am not a Radio City Rockette. Not all dreams come true, but you might just stumble onto new dreams along the way.